Welcome everyone, it's Ken Bergen here from Silver Chef, and I'm really excited about the big response to the webinar today. So we've got half a dozen very smart people from different types of businesses are going to talk about how they've diversified, because one thing's for sure in 2020, just relying on what you did in 2019 is not going to work very well. So thanks everyone for coming along. If you wouldn't mind just diving into that poll, you'll see that on your screen there. Answer the questions, just 2 questions about what you've seen and whether you're a business operator yourself, what your experience is, and in a minute I'll close that poll and we'll have a look at the results. I'll share that with you. So don't forget to use the chat. Already we've got people doing that. And the sound options there as well. Most people have got that pretty well sorted. That's our disclaimer. Make sure you kind of think about how you handle advice from us or from anyone really. You know, important to do your own research on opinions of other people. And take notes. You know how those brainwaves just flip through your mind and then suddenly 5 minutes later you can't remember what it was. Well, text yourself or yeah, write it down, or however you can do that. Click on the links. We'll be putting some links in the chat. We'll also be sending you those in our follow-up email later on. Any questions and chat in the chat box, which I've said before, set your chat, and you're voting in this poll, which is excellent. Okay. So just a reminder, 2 more webinars coming up in 2 weeks' time, and then 2 weeks again after that. We'll be sending you reminders of those, of course. Once you're on our enrolment list, we can get you get reminders pretty regularly. We have a sponsor today. Haha. Silver Chef's sponsoring from our ice machines. A lot of people don't realise that we actually refurbish and sell second-hand equipment. This is equipment, we only sell stuff that we've financed. And if people return it for any reason, we'll refurbish it, give you a 3-month parts and labour guarantee on it and sell it. So this is just a few things that I took off our website. Some of it's on the website, but there's also a lot more though. There's dozens and dozens of ice machines. I put them up because we've got to think about summer, everyone. I don't know how it was for you last year, but did you have enough ice? You know, every profitable drink should be 1/3 ice and 2/3 juice. Not like the pubs which have 90% ice and, you know, 10% gin and tonic. But anyway, think ice machines and have a look at the options we've got as well. It's all on our website. So here are our guests today. 2 people from Mornington, Jill and Sam. Different types of businesses, but they've got plenty of good stuff to talk to us about. David Bitton from Sydney, who I've known for quite a while, is actually brought along his first product he made 20 years ago. David, you better show everyone while I'm embarrassing you about that. Well, you did decide to bring it. There we are. Okay. Sean from GiveX, really excellent gift card solution. We want to talk about, you know, gift cards as something. Maybe put in the chat if anyone's selling gift cards already, whether it's with GiveX or any other system. You might just want to raise that, and we'll talk about that. To me, Australians have been very slow in taking that up. Finally, people are waking up a bit. We've got Josh and Tim from Burgerhead in Penrith, one burger shop, food truck, new trailer, pop-ups, experimenting with a second brand as well. Hugh from Geelong, who's done the P word, pivot, with his business from cafe to meals, and selling a lot of those meals on subscription, which I think is fantastic. So that's us. And we're going to go into talking to David first up. But what I might do is just finish this poll first and just share the results so we can see what's the wisdom of the crowd here. So I'll just put that up here. So what have we got here for the first question? The largest one is people are noticing that home delivery is being offered. What's the second one? Takeaway? Yeah, I think that's pretty obvious. Third one, selling groceries and fresh produce. I wouldn't have expected that to be number 3, but anyway, that's interesting. Meal kits and what people are doing in their own businesses, well, maybe that's why you came along to the webinar, because there's not nearly as strong a response there. Take away people doing their own delivery. I know Jill's going to talk about doing their own delivery. She's got some things to share with that. Okay, interesting. Thanks for taking part in the poll. We'll turn that off now and let's talk. David, hi. Tell us about Bitton. You guys around, is it 20 years with that product, or you've been around longer than that?
Before we celebrate 20 years anniversary with a pandemic, so that was a nice celebration for 2020. We opened in 2000 with a 6-table coffee shop, and today we've got 3 restaurants and a range of gourmet food products we sell around the countries and overseas. And 5 years ago, we launched a consulting business, helping people to open the shop, to develop the product range. All of that based on our experiences and mistakes. So now we're able to actually charge money for that and see our IP.
So this is people who want to kind of make their own range of sauces, or you take the products, take the recipes that people love about their food and bottle it. And
take it to a manufacturing level. So obviously the transition is quite complex. Making 10 jars at home to a 5, 6 or 7,000 jars in the factory is going to be a different product. And that transition is what we've learned through the Bitton product, obviously. Over 20 years, we evolved, and the labeling, the requirement of the labeling, the distribution and so on, the positioning of the product is pretty essential if you want to start doing some volume.
So when do you stop doing it in your own kitchen and look at outsourcing, and what's the level?
Well, I think when we opened 20 years ago, we had a little coffee shop in Alexandria. We started positioning the product into some key stores, and then when we couldn't make it, we went to a factory, small factory where we have control of the product, and we wanted some integrity. So quite quickly, we straight away went to a manufacturing level to have a consistency of the product. As you know, when you cook in the kitchen, it's a different exercise.
And what was what did you have to give up? Because people sort of worry about someone else doing it. Did you feel you give it, or were your recipes well enough developed at that stage?
Yes, and also we use this product into your menu. So when you have a dish at any dishes, it would be made well with the product. So what you do is you have an added value. So you buy a beef burger with my vegetable pickle, and suddenly you buy the pickle. So instead of buying $18 burger, you're buying a $30 burger because you take the pickle home. So it's trying to position the product in people's pantries, and then the brands get recognized in your fridge. You look at Bitton, and hopefully you keep coming back. And this is why the red label was lucky at the time, but now this red label is recognizable in any delis, any butchers, or any supermarkets. You would see the Bitton brand.
Nice. So what's innovation for you guys too, especially in the last 12 months? Do you have kind of do you bring in new products and then retire some, or do you just keep a very stable range of products?
Well, we try to obviously read the market. Turmeric was big at one stage, so we developed a turmeric oil. We try to decide what people really want, and then what doesn't work, eliminate straight away. But like the last 12 months of the pandemic, on the 23rd of March, when all the restaurants were told to close, I was personally very depressed. I just opened my third restaurant, spent $500,000, and my wife rightly so said, "Listen, it's not about you. It's global, and you just got to snap out of it and just move
Everyone's
on."
suffering.
Yeah, exactly right. And I feel for the people from Victoria. I mean, second lockdown, I can only imagine what we'd feel like right now when we just got out of it, So try to be innovative and try to think outside the square. So take away, everybody went take away for the restaurant, but suddenly we're all fighting for the same slice of cake. Everyone is takeaway shop. So how do you differentiate yourself from other competitors? And that's what.
And how did you do that?
We focus mainly online, obviously. We focus on giving value, on not being overly priced. And our database has been an incredible value. We built an organic database over 20 years. Obviously, not every restaurant is 20 years. But suddenly you got 19,000 people. When we send an EDM, suddenly you got an instant response. You can't buy that. You buy that through years of work. So events and product and hampers. Just a quick example of Mother's Day is our biggest day of the year.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we make a shitload of money on that day. And suddenly I got 3 restaurants where I can't have table and chairs. What do you do? So we did a hampers, we did a Mother's Day hampers for breakfast, Mother's Day hampers for lunch. We made more money this year on Mother's Day than for the last 20 years on Mother's Day.
Right. You know what? I've heard that from quite a few other people as well too. So,
Correct.
yeah. So there's it's a permanent change in some ways, isn't it? I mean, we want our customers back, but are you going to scale back that sort of takeaway? I mean, takeaway sounds a little bit cheap, but
no, I think it's another channel to generate some income. So you got the product line, you got the cafe, you got the online orderings. Online orderings, the money is in the bank before you dispatch the product. So it's actually even good. That's right.
And it's very nice to wake up in the morning and find people paid you while you're asleep, isn't it? That doesn't happen.
It's a good feeling. I mean,
with table service. Yeah, cool. Okay. I've got just another snap from your website here. So events, these sort of special days, vegetarian feasts, all these sorts of things. Are you doing more of these now, or has this always been something you've done?
Yeah, because you got to think people can't travel. So actually a lot of people got quite a bit of money at home to spend, to burn. So we realized that people are spending more money in restaurants. They spend $20 more on a bottle of wine because they want to support themselves. They didn't go to Europe. They didn't go in Bali. They stay at home. They've been locked in. So the spending is much better in our restaurant. Creating events like a truffle night last week or mussel free tonight. It's high profit margin dishes. People come in, they celebrate, they are getting together, and then they go back home.
So what, a higher per head spend you've noticed?
Yes, definitely. 100%,
okay,
yeah.
nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So don't forget, if you've got questions for David, drop them into the chat. I'll going to move on to our next guest now, but we're here to answer questions. Hugh, hi. Known Hugh for a few years, and from being a cafe owner in the middle of CBD in Geelong, suddenly all your customers went away, didn't they? So tell us about how you kind of changed the business around.
Well, I mean, our offering as a cafe was all about connecting, being here, and we had a really nice community around who would be in our cafe at any one time. And so this situation was asking us to do something different, totally different. So we essentially were Little Green Corner, our cafe, on a Friday, and what we've called the Good Meal Project on the Monday. So yeah, we've made that a similar shift, obviously, to a lot of cafes and restaurants, to making and delivering meals to people's homes. But we've done it in a really simple way. So we do one meal each week for the week, and then we change it. So you can see on that slide there, everyone, just what the meal is this week and what's coming up. So we, our kitchen just...
This is from your Instagram.
Yeah, just on that earlier slide you can see, but we just do one meal each week. So it's a very simple model. And you mentioned...
So what's the one top right there? Is that meatballs or something with mash or what?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, with polenta on that guy. So, and the vast majority, so you can buy a single meal, but the vast majority of our weekly orders are subscription orders. So we already know next week, we already know we've sold X number of meals each week before we start, which for hospitality is just so refreshing.
Wow, it's predictability that we don't know that one.
As a cafe, you'd open the door and you have no actual idea what's going to come to you.
What proportion of your meal sales then is subscription each week, approximately?
70 or 80%, Ken.
Wow,
yeah.
Awesome.
So,
yeah.
And they're just week on week. And so I think at the start there was a little bit of that. We need to support Little Green Corner to stay alive. But now it's just we're hearing and understanding that just giving them that one different meal each week really helps.
So that's a meal for what? Four? Designed for 4
people.
or?
Yeah, 6 people. So it's that kind of larger size.
Okay. And what's that? How much does that cost?
$70, Ken, for a
all right.
one meal, and then slightly less if you're a subscriber.
Okay. And so you've got other add-ons. I know when we were talking before, you said it's rare for people to just spend $70. What's the most popular add-ons that you'll get?
So we've got preserves, So they're always kind of changing according to what we've got excess of and what's growing around us. Desserts, obviously, there's a couple pictured there. They're always changing, and because most of our meals are delivered as well by the weekend. So
By your staff, or you use a service?
Yeah. So at the end of the day, just between myself and our kitchen crew and our front of house staff, we just buzz off in our own directions and deliver our meals. So if you're already going to the address, it's obviously lovely to be able to deliver and sell those extra items as well. And it's just such a simple model, Ken, and it's worked. We were quick. We had to be quick because our offering, we didn't have that takeaway offering that a lot of cafes have. It wasn't part of our part of who we were. So there was clearly no point hanging around for people to come and sit in. So we had to be really decisive, and in the end, actually, it was a real blessing that we had to be decisive because we couldn't just hang on to that coffee trade that, and CBDs everywhere are most affected by all of this, clearly.
Yes, and possibly very long term as well.
Yeah.
So you got jams and pickles. Is that a big part of production, or just a nice little add-on?
No. Like just looking at the previous at David's offering, we're very much.
David blows everyone out of the water, though. Don't be intimidated by him.
So no, it's literally 20 jars at a time. Whether it's a relish. Marmalade, or Mad's down there at the moment doing a ketchup, and it's we're small though as well, and I think being small, we're 4 staff, Ken, one place.
So you brought your wages bill down quite a bit, I'm guessing.
Well, we've actually managed though to keep our full-time equivalent staff over all this, which has been really pleasing as well. So our revenue's increased a lot.
Cool.
So I guess our staff costs
have
dropped.
So I got a couple of questions coming in here. There's a good one from Abdur there about what are the must-haves for online ordering websites. I might hold that just for a little longer till we've heard from some of the others who are using, because we've got a variety of people using different websites. That's a great question to ask a few people. Julian's asking about, as a cafe, you're finding customers looking for at-home coffee products to complement the meals. Do you sell beans as well, or ground coffee?
Yeah, we do. It's not a big add-on, but it's an available one. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Okay. And all right. Aaron, I might hold, Aaron, your question until we've heard from a few others as well. So let's go on to talk to Josh and Tim about Burgerhead.
Hi, Ken. How you doing?
Hello. Yeah. Hey. So 2 chefs, real chefs, who kind of decided to kind of do the entrepreneur thing, and we're glad they did. Okay. So bit of quick history, guys. Tell us how'd you start? And
I started in fine dining, apprenticeship down at the Hyatt, moved on to a Meggio, then to Key, then helped open a restaurant in Surrey Hills called Master, where I met Tim.
We're next to each other, that's why he's
pointing. Good. Okay.
Yeah. He's not just pointing at nothing.
Nice. Yeah. Your IT consultant is sitting right beside you there. Nice. Okay. Okay, so what's different? I mean, we're not short of groovy burger places in Sydney or around the world. What's different for you guys? What stands out?
It'd definitely be. It's going to be the story. Like, not many places. I don't want to sound arrogant now, but I'd say that not many burger joints have the sort of culinary background like we do.
Okay.
And that sort of plays part in keying the brand. Like, we mince our own beef, make our own pickles, make our own sauces. And that really stands out in the product.
Okay, I know I've been out to the guys' shop out at Penrith, and I was really impressed. Yeah, wow, you make your own mince, that sort of thing. That's
Yeah.
Is that actually is that cost effective as well as being better quality?
100%. Or
yeah, so it's better quality. Food costs dropped, but there is a bit more labor, obviously, mincing and portioning, but it's 100% worth it.
Okay. Question from Livia. I'll ask you guys and for the others too about JobKeeper. Have you managed to maintain your staff? Have you been able to use JobKeeper, or did your sales not drop enough? Or
Fortunately, we were able to keep on all of our staff. We actually increased through just a few initiatives, getting the truck out, starting our own delivery. Our team's grown by, I think, 8 employees this year.
wow, okay,
27
right. So
people now.
So JobKeeper 2 might not be one for you.
Not for us, no.
Yeah,
No.
okay. Interesting challenge for you operators. If you're too successful, yeah. Anyway, interesting one. Okay, so here's a few of your products. Tell us about your food truck, because you've now got a van as well. A comment was made by someone before, this is a pretty pricey exercise. Yeah, tell us how you run those. Again, you two guys,
Yes.
there's 2 of you at least, but you look pretty relaxed as well.
I guess the first reason why we initially bought the truck was we did a pop-up store for 6 months in Beaumont Hills that Aaron commented earlier. I think it was Aaron. And we sort of learned the lessons about, it's easy to run one venue when we're both there, but splitting our time, we sort of learned the lessons with like inventory control, systems, management, training, all that sort of stuff. And so then we looked at a truck originally sort of to grow another revenue stream without the big upfront cost like fitting out a shop is.
Mm-hmm.
And so we picked that up last September, and it served us well for closing in on a year now, I guess.
So you got a second-hand one, or you had something fitted out to your design?
All custom built. We
Okay.
looked at a couple of different builders, a couple of different trucks from people that we know in Sydney, came up with our sort of specifications and went from there.
Okay, and so if you're doing a second one, what are you doing differently that sort of got missed on the first one? Just out of curiosity, or did you get it perfect the first time?
We got it close.
Yeah,
but,
close.
Okay.
but, a few little tweaks here and there, drainage in the floor and just storage space. Knowing where to put shelves has been a big help.
Sure. Okay. So I think food trucks is something that appeals to a lot of people. I remember talking to someone in the city council in Sydney a while back, and they said all the licenses they were getting then were existing restaurants or cafes who wanted to, it wasn't, pioneering food truck operators, that's their only business. So that's, I guess, how do you use the economies of scale with your food truck?
Works pretty well. So we take it out on on Friday night, it'll go out, and where we'll have one guy to sort of mince, say, X amount of kilos of beef for the shop, he can now double it for the truck, and it utilizes the same labor, and then keeps quality the same and all that sort of stuff. So we see efficiencies in labor with the truck, but we only achieve it because we've got the store and the space for the truck to load up.
Now, how do you promote the truck? How do people know where it's going to be?
Social media mainly, and email
Which one,
database.
what works best? Insta, Facebook, or Snapchat, or?
We use Facebook and Instagram predominantly. So from our main feed, that photos from our Instagram, our Instagram highlights, email database, and then digital ads.
Okay, so you're running ads on Instagram, are you?
Being in the same location as every week is letting people know that we're there.
Okay, so the predictability. And what's the second one how's that going to work?
It's up in hours at the moment. We're either thinking private events / breweries, or we'll find more spots like the original truck.
Okay, so a question from Abdur here about how do you go launching a gourmet food truck? What would you guys do to speed up the process from last time around? Is there any?
Yeah, I think
for us it was an easy extension because we had a brand already. If we were starting from scratch, it definitely would have been a much greater ordeal to sort of achieve.
Sure.
Definitely the brand, people knowing where we were. We've been in a few burger sort of expos around Sydney.
Traditional marketing as well.
Yeah, the traditional marketing, that was something I think we built upon from some of your earlier podcasts, Ken. Learning just as important as the online is great, but surprising somebody with something in their mail, a leaflet, a menu, letting them know we're around.
So good old letterboxing as well. Is that to do with just the area you are, family, suburban
Correct,
area, or
yeah.
you just think that would work anywhere?
I think we tend to operate in suburban areas, so that sort of works for us.
And do you use Australia Post's unaddressed mail, or do you use a private
We use
contractor?
my younger brothers.
Oh, you use family. Okay, that works. so long as you check. Okay, so there's a question here, which was for David as well. No, the one about from Abdur, another one about pluses and minuses of ordering websites. What's the platform that you guys use?
So at the moment, the screenshot that you had, that was from a system called Mobi2Go. Super duper quick, easy to use, get it up and running very easily.
Yeah.
And that works really well. But we're in the midst of swapping to an integrated solution with our point of sale, which is Redcat.
Yep.
And that'll have an app, a website, the point of sale, all talking to each other with a loyalty program.
Okay.
So whether you order on the website, in-store, app, whatever it is, you'll rack up loyalty points, and just a holistic solution.
I remember when I looked back a house at your place, you had about 5 different screens from all the different systems. So this is all going to bring them all into one screen, is it? That'll be
correct. It'll also be integrated
eventually. Yeah.
Chefs will thank you for that, I'm sure. Okay, let's jump on to the next guest here, Sean. Gift vouchers. I mentioned in the intro that Aussies have been a bit slow on the uptake with gift vouchers, but the restaurateurs have been slow on them. The customers haven't, because they've been buying them from David Jones and Meyer for a long time. So what do you notice now? What's just tell us what can we get set up before Christmas time?
Well, I guess on your first point, like what's changed before COVID in Australia, most of the inquiries and business that we would do would be mostly retail. And then since COVID come along, I think Hugh hit on the point before where people were looking to support their local venues a little more, and maybe looking at ways that they could buy gift cards and that sort of thing. I think it hit the media and people saying, hey, how do we support our local coffee chain? How do we support our local restaurants? And gift cards is one of those. So all of a sudden we had a sea of inquiries through from people looking to support gift card programs. But in North America and in Europe, gift cards in the food and beverage space are massive. But it's slowly trickling over to Australia, and people are really starting to see it as a good additional revenue stream.
Come on, Aussies. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, what about what's happened around Father's Day? Are dads being given gift cards more than, say, a year ago, or dad's still missing out like he sometimes does?
Yeah, I mean, I'll find out after Sunday, but it's definitely. I mean, obviously seasonally, like things like gift cards are big around Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas, that sort of thing. So we definitely see spikes in that time of year, and spikes from both a digital and physical perspective. So digital gift cards are obviously gaining traction, but physical gift cards are still something that are very, very popular. And I don't think you're going away anytime soon.
Would you say a restaurant should say they've got a display at the counter? Should it just be digital for ease, or should they also have a physical one as well?
Well, your first point there is really important. Having a display at the counter, so actually having your gift cards displayed correctly is a good step. But I think a combination of both is a really good, I guess, a good starting point. But you don't have to go down the kind of road of both. You can obviously feel out the market to begin with. The beauty about an e-gift card program is that these cards can be sold 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days of the year. Someone doesn't have to physically go to your venue to buy them. And they're also a pretty quick gift as well. For example, at Christmas time, we see a massive spike of e-gift cards being sent on Christmas Day because someone's received
someone forgot
someone
and didn't have one back. I love that.
Exactly. So to be able to have at least that as a sales channel
and don't forget, everyone, men are hopeless at gift buying. This is perfect if your staff suggest. Staff suggest, and then the extra magic question when they do buy one, you say to them, who else is on your list? Because there's sure to be someone else who would like a $50 card as well. Anyway.
Exactly. So, and look, I guess when we talk to restaurants and food venues that are looking to get into gift card programs, like I guess recently, a lot of people say that they've started previously, and it's just with some little gift card book or some hand printed homemade printed vouchers that they've never really used, that have maybe been hidden away in a cupboard. And you know, they're never going to be successful, a program like that. You know, some of the key things here are obviously just making sure that you're telling your staff about it, telling your customers about it, and just making sure that they're easy for your customers to buy.
Yeah, nice. Tell me about one of your standout restaurant or cafe customers. You don't have to name names, or you can if you want to, but what do they do to make it work so well?
I guess to name a name that most people would be familiar with, I'd say Merivale.
Mm-hmm.
Those guys joined GiveX around about 3 years ago. And their program has just gone gangbusters. They sell a lot of e-gift cards. They sell a lot of physical cards.
Okay.
Probably an even split between both. But what they do really well, and which is the key to any program being successful, is just marketing it. So marketing it through word of mouth. So obviously telling your customers about it in store, having it on menus, getting it through social channels is obviously really important. But also considering third-party sales networks as well. So maybe selling your cards through the likes of Prezi, which is a really cool online gift card channel.
Yeah, okay.
And yeah, just kind of being able to get the cards out there and letting people know that you do offer these. And I guess finally on that is offering a solution B2B as well. We always think about gift cards as being a B2C type scenario. But maybe getting businesses involved in you know, helping people reward their staff maybe with gift cards.
Yeah, Christmas presents for the staff. It's a very honourable Aussie tradition, isn't it? Other countries, they think we're a bit crazy, but yeah, boss can't throw a big party this year, so
yeah, and we're seeing that happen quite a bit. B2B is really a big space now in the gift card space.
Nice. How quick to set up if someone contacts you?
We can get a card, like an e-gift card program running in a couple of weeks. Physical cards is something that can take a little bit longer. So in terms of card production, especially as you head towards Christmas, card production can take kind of 8-10 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We're now 16-17 weeks from Christmas. So there's still time, but it's definitely about planning and, you know, I guess having a bit of a marketing plan and a strategy in place.
Okay, nice. Word of warning to everyone. We've got a webinar on Christmas planning coming up in the second week of October. So we'll cover more of that then. A question here from Abdur. How do you promote loyalty programs without being invasive or taking up a lot of your customers' time? I guess by loyalty he's meaning gift cards as well.
How do you promote it? Sorry, what was the question? How do you?
Yeah, without being invasive and taking up a lot of customers' time.
Oh, well, I guess first and foremost is probably understanding your customer. I guess we all know what annoying is, and annoying is probably getting text messages twice a day and emails 3 times a week, and probably having relevant content to go out to your customers with as well. Like, you don't always want to be selling to your customers. You want to be able to inform them, provide education, kind of like we're doing today with our webinar, and I guess just understanding when to communicate and the right messages. So I think we all know what's annoying and maybe what's a good way.
And I think us Aussies, I always say we weren't born with a selling gene. I think we could all do with a little more selling pressure. It wouldn't do any of us any harm. Anyway, okay. Thanks, Sean. You might want to just, Sean, have a look in the chat. There's a few questions there you might want to respond to as well. Be interesting. Your response. Okay, let's talk to Jill from Winey Cow. Where'd the name come from, by the way?
Yeah, we get asked this a lot. It depends who you ask, Ken. If you ask me, it's because of my love of cheese and wine, and the business initially started out on the premise of being a wine and cheese bar, and that quickly changed to what our core product and what it is we do now. But we do brunch. We specialize in brunch morning, noon and night, and we believe that everyone should have brunch at all times of day, and that's what Winey Cow is, and that's what our core product is. But yeah, so that's where the name originally comes from. My husband will say it's named after somebody else, but that's okay too, because that sells glassware and things like that, people that love the cheekiness of that name. So yeah.
So tell us about the changes you had to make in March, and then again more recently to traditional style, well, not too traditional, but, you know, a standard kind of restaurant model. So that looks like, is that family meal packs and things you've got there as well? So I might just go back to your here.
So this is our merchandise range on this slide here. So we've been doing merchandise for about 3 years now. We made a conscious decision about 3 years ago to focus on Winey as a brand rather than just as a venue. And so anything we did beyond our core product was really about an extension of that brand, and trying to build a tribe or build a community around Winey Cow, where they can wear our merchandise but not being in your face. So we don't use our name, we use our logo, which is our cow. And we find that this sells really well because it's not necessarily a cafe brand, but it's a really nice retail type look and feel. And then with our glassware, as I mentioned, we have the Winey Cow written on that, and we sell a lot of those. A lot of males buy our wine glasses for their wives and things like that. So that's really good fun. So they sell really well. So we have this on our website. We sell our merchandise in store. Our staff wear all our merchandise. So our staff wear all these t-shirts, jumpers to work, and caps and beanies and things as well. And then obviously we display this in store. So the majority of our sales will come from in store, people seeing people wearing it. And then obviously we have this on our website through Wix as well as an online shop for people to purchase.
So Wix is your website, and you built the e-commerce onto that. How's that going? Is that coping with the demand and everything?
No, it is. It's interesting since lockdown 1 and now lockdown 2, being down in Mornington. We find that the merchandise is selling more now than it has previously. And I think, again, that falls back to that whole tribe and that community around the brand. People want to purchase. We also have it displayed on our window. We have our setup with where our venue is that we're on the main street. So people on their 1 hour of exercise a day that we're allowed down here in Melbourne will walk past. And we found that we've been selling a lot of hoodies, being winter and a bit colder, and Main Street is like a wind tunnel in winter down here. So, and a lot of beanies. And our kids.
So what's the profit margin on a $60 hoodie? What do you make?
So the profit margins on all of our stuff ranges from about 30 to 50%. It's not ridiculously high. But again, we don't do merchandise for it to be our core product. We're not a retail store as such. We are a brunch, we are a cafe, and that's our main product, but this is an extension of that. So it is profitable. It doesn't run at a loss, but it's certainly not our main.
And proportion of online sales compared to counter sales?
I would say that if you were to proportion that out, you'd probably look at maybe 70-30, 65.
Okay, so that's good amount of online sales. And what's the main way you promote it? Apart from, good old retail merchandising and display, do you have an EDM, email process?
We have a database, quite a big database that we will promote to through email. We obviously use our socials, Instagram and Facebook.
Sure.
Is a really great way, and we sell it that way. And I think primarily in store has always been our biggest way of selling, but if online, it's through promotion through our socials and using email as well.
Cool. I might just get you to jump in the chat too. There's a question there for you from Livia you might like to answer, because what I want to do is actually, before I get on to Sam in 1 minute, I just want to show you what I used to do way back in the 90s when I had my Cafe Troppo. Not only did we sell T-shirts, we sold it pretty cheap, but we sure sold volume. But we'd have a competition, send us a photo, and this was a real photo, none of this Instagram. And we got so many photos. I just grabbed 3. I mean, I love that, and have you got any photos from overseas, Jill? Have you had any people?
Yeah, we've had a few people. We've had people on cruises wearing our hats. We've had people over in the US wearing our T-shirts. So, we've had a few of those.
Yeah. Do you promote a hashtag for your
We don't, but it's certainly something that we...
that's a hashtag on Insta with this would be awesome. I think the prize for a photo was a coffee or something like that. People didn't really need prizes. But anyway, I just thought I'd do a little bit of a brag there. The burger head, your T-shirt would look pretty amazing. I don't know if you've got product yet or if that's on the list, but cool.
Well. They're on their way.
Beautiful. Okay. Yeah, flog it hard. My trick was sell cheap and sell volume. Anyway. Okay, Sam, hi. Thanks for coming along today. Sorry you've been the last one here. Anyway, tell us about Common Folk, which I haven't been to down in Mornington, but I've heard so much for so long, and then I had connected up with you. So, tell us about
Yeah, so
business?
we're in Mornington too, like Jill. So she's on the main street. We're definitely not on the main street. We're out in the middle of the industrial estate, mainly because we're a coffee roaster as well as a venue. And so we've got a cafe, sort of coffee cellar door set up, as well as a network of wholesale customers, so other restaurants and cafes who sell our coffee.
Is that your store in that slide up the top?
Yeah, so that middle one's us. That's the front of our
Okay.
at the moment.
Real glamorous architecture, eh?
Oh, very much so, yeah. It was an old limestone manufacturing factory, so I had to dig out, a couple of inches of limestone for pretty much every sort of crevice when we took over. But it's very much not like that now, albeit it is empty because, anyone else in Victoria, we're in stage 4 lockdown still, and so and have been, in and out of different lockdowns since March. And so we've had to pivot in a number of directions. So I guess the first thing, and what you can kind of see in front of you there, was the Victorian government's been really good in allowing stores with liquor licenses to get temporary licenses to sell takeaway or delivered alcohol, even if they previously weren't. And so we've been able to, I guess, pack not just our coffee beans and meals, but also our alcoholic beverages, and I guess deliver those or allow customers to take those away. And that's probably proven to be the most profitable of the cafe offerings we've been able to do during lockdown.
You mean the alcohol or the beans?
Probably, well, the combination. And so there's sort of, I guess we've done a couple of things. The first time around, we did, I guess, cafe style food packs. So you'd have some local produce as well as some pre-cooked meals. And you might throw in some alcohol and some beans as well. And we did those through the cafe. And we sold a lot of them, and it was definitely good to get the revenue in. But when we reflected and sort of crunched the numbers retrospectively, they weren't particularly profitable. And we decided this second time around that we would stick to doing what we do well, rather than trying to do a little bit of everything. And I think that's probably a big piece of advice I'd give to anyone at the moment, trying to figure out how to kind of keep things ticking over in 2020, is that you still got to do it as a business. Just because you're bringing money through the door doesn't necessarily mean you're making money. And so what we focused on very much this second time around was really pushing the retail side of coffee beans. So because we import and roast our own coffee, we make a better margin on those, and it's what our business is set up to do and to do efficiently. And so what we've tried to do is do home deliveries for locals ourselves, as well as those wholesale customers that are lucky enough to still be trading a good volume.
So I can get the beans delivered as well. Is there a minimum spend for that? Or?
We did initially. I think at the moment to get free delivery anywhere it was $30, but we actually pretty much eradicated that for local delivery, simply because we were doing so many deliveries that it wasn't a large cost to send one pack, down the road. And so we're delivering anywhere from pretty much anywhere in metropolitan Melbourne all the way down to the bottom of the peninsula.
Wow.
And it's increased exponentially, and especially during this last lockdown when basically all businesses had to shut down. But we've also tried to support our wholesale customers who might not be as lucky as us, and obviously have a delivery van and a roastery and the ability to do this, and maybe not a strong online presence. And so we've either helped them set up their own retail space for coffee beans in their cafe, because I see it as being money for jam, really similar to, I guess, the wearing merchandise. You're not necessarily making huge margins, although with most beans, I think you could probably make close to 100% markup. But you are essentially selling a product that you're already selling anyway. And so you don't necessarily have to fork out extra money to do it. And I think most good roasting partners will kind of assist you in setting that up. And then it's a matter of promoting it and saying, hey, do you really enjoy the coffee? I mean, most people who are going to your venue probably do, because that's probably why they're going there. And it's just a bit of a, would you like to take some home with you? Very much like the gift cards kind of thing.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
What sort of conversion rate would you get? Have you got a hunch of what that might be?
Yeah, that's a really good question. In terms of our partners getting on board with it, I think that it's probably pretty high. Like close to 80% of people, I think, have decided that they will sell beans if they can. I'd say maybe 40% of those people are doing it really well and really focusing on it. And then in terms of that upsell to their customers, I think it depends on how their coffee program is maybe viewed. And so there are cafes or restaurants where coffee is very much a secondary product, and that's fine. And maybe you're better off selling the product you're known for. So, like Jill was saying, Winey Cow is known for brunch, and it is. I go there myself when I can. And so like focusing sort of then on the things the customers really want, which will be the brunch, maybe a really good idea. Because that's what they're likely to buy.
Sure.
Again, maybe why we didn't have such dramatic success selling our sort of our food produce packs, because most people primarily knew us as being their local coffee roaster. And I think that's why we've had a lot of success selling coffee beans.
So the cafe that wants to start selling beans as well, they've got good price. It's good coffee. Let's say it's your beans or something like that. What is your recommendation about setting the counter up and display, and how much stock to have, and scripts for the staff? How do you coach them?
Sure. And so, I mean, first things first, and I'm obviously biased, but I'd suggest make sure you're partnering with a coffee roaster that has a really great reputation and that your customer's probably going to be interested in, I guess, supporting as a brand. Or maybe you've got your own custom branded product, and so the customer can then support you when they're buying their coffee. Secondly, I think it needs to be front and center. If you want to sell a secondary product to supplement your main product, you can't make it look like an afterthought, because I think that in my experience in retail and working in cafes, people trust you if they think that you're doing what you're supposed to be doing. And so if you've kind of got a couple of dirty old bags sitting far back on a shelf, and they've got like a price scribbled on there that's got fingerprints smudged on it, and they're not going to think that you sell coffee, therefore they're not going to trust you enough to buy the coffee from you.
It's stale.
Yeah. But if you have a really, really dedicated space where you have volume of product, you make it look really good. I mean, and I just say, if you're looking for good sort of influences to kind of like copy, go to the supermarkets and see how they promote product. Now, obviously they might look a little more commercial, but they really are onto it. If they want to sell something, they have a whole heap of it. They make it neat, they make it look like they go through volume. And so my suggestion to my accounts is always borrow a whole heap of bags from us with stickers. If you don't think you're going to sell the coffee and you don't want it to go to waste or be past its roast date, fill it with sand, fill it with rice, just make sure you clearly mark the bag for not for sale, but then have a big display set up so it looks like you're selling a lot of it. And then
abundance. Yeah, nice. Okay. David, any comments on selling product and merchandising? And I mean, you've actually merchandised your presence here today. You've got product in the background there, but what have you found over the years with displaying stuff and selling at the counter and things?
I think you've got to be careful that you don't go over the top. And we did that when we opened the grocer side of the cafe, where we are starting to sell some jars from France, some glasses from France, and suddenly you lose your identity. You are not a gift shop. You're food premises. So you got to be careful what you want to upsell and what you want to sell as an extension of your brand. I think that's quite important that you stick to where you should.
Is there any scripts that your staff use, or is there any kind of suggestive selling that they're all meant to do?
I think that's into your presentation when you talk to the people, like I said before, with the salad, or was your salad, and if you like the dressing, well, you can buy the lemon dressing or the French dressing or whatever. So it's all a matter of how you position your menu, highlight both your ingredients, what you can buy very subtly, so you're not in the face. I think that's pretty important.
Hey, Sam, tell us about Father's Day, Mother's Day, Christmas packs. What's the plan? I guess you're learning and strengthening that each time.
No, for sure. And so as you can see by this picture, although we've got some updated ones with our very own cooler bag rather than that red one online now, but we've really honed into what worked well last time and what we actually made money on. And so for Father's Day, we've got a bit of a coffee and beer pack. So you get some coffee beans, you get some cold brew, and you get some local beers, all in a nifty little cooler bag. And it's just kind of stuff that's easy for us to deliver at a good margin. So like, I think one thing we realized was that any pack selling for sort of under $50 was really costing us a lot to deliver.
Okay, so what's the cost of that one on the left and the one on the right?
Great question. So the one on the left, I think we're selling that for sort of, it's between $50 and $100. It's funny, I actually didn't put these packs together. My great team did. And the one on the right's a little bit more expensive because obviously it's got more product in it. But they are sitting around the sort of the high 50s to sort of $150 mark, knowing that selling one of them, it's worth driving out of our way to deliver them ourselves. Whereas for some cheaper stuff, I mean, we've recently just partnered with DoorDash and Menulog, which, you know, obviously take a big slice of the pie, but we're kind of letting them handle the smaller and more difficult deliveries of sort of the hot food and that kind of thing. And I think for moving forward for our ideas for, you know, obviously we've got Father's Day and then we've got Christmas coming up. I think we're really going to focus on tightening up our mailing list. So I strongly encourage people to have a way for their customers to subscribe or to find out about their business beyond just social media, you know, so that you kind of have their attention on a number of fronts. And we'll really
how do you do that?
And so we've got that on our website. So I think for anyone visiting commonfolk.coffee, if it's the first time you've visited it, a little pop-up should come up and say, hey, do you want to find out more about who we are? Sign up to our newsletter. It's really simple to do. And I think that if you're not confident doing it yourself, probably the person who built your website should be. But a quick Google search, I think, normally makes that doable.
Well, compliments on your website too. I mean, your blog's it's actually a very interesting read. You do a lot of community stuff. You're very passionate about coffee producers. It's a good newsy website too. It's kept people sticking around. Yeah, nice.
Yeah, and I guess that's the other thing is we try and, you know, tell our story in whatever way we can and let people kind of become part of the family. And then again, that's why, and probably the one other thing I would say is that if you are running a promotion or if you do want to get something new out there, you've got to capture your audience's attention. It's no good just being a cafe or being a burger joint. There's got to be a reason, you know, like I think everyone sort of, all the other panelists have been really good at kind of articulating why that customers should really buy from them. Like I love the one in Geelong, the little corner or whatever it was. That's just an amazing story.
Little green corner.
Yeah,
it's wonderful, isn't it?
With the farm and everything. And, you know, there's a reason for people to stick around and I think that you need to give people either a sweet deal or, you know, a good story to engage with. Otherwise, it's just going to be noise. And like it was mentioned earlier, everyone's had to pivot to do takeaway and online now. And so you've got to find out who your loyal followers are and how to sell to them. And there's so many ways to do that. Yeah.
Nice. Well, we're going to wrap up now, but I've got one last quick question for everyone. I'd just like to thank all the guests, you know, for the generosity of the information you've shared so frankly with us. It's been wonderful. So for each of you, just quickly, you know, one strong recommendation and one thing to avoid. Sam, do you want to go first?
Sure. I really think that you should, and so the big recommendation would be to not, is to focus on the thing you do really well and make sure that you get that in front of the people who are interested in it. Whatever that might be. If it's, you know, if it's great kind of like preserves and stuff like David, or if it's amazing merchandise like the Winey Cow, whatever it is, find out what that is and do it. And then stop doing all the other stuff that doesn't make you money and just stresses you out and makes you, you know, distracted from your core business.
Yeah. Nice. Sean, what's your go and stop?
Yeah, sure. So I would say to plan early. We talked to lots of people on the 5th of December that want something in place by Christmas. Not going to happen.
Good luck with that. Yeah.
And the second part would probably be something that Tim and Josh touched on earlier, is to have integrated systems as well. So when you put a new system in place, make sure it's easy to use, and that is to integrate it with your other systems and processes.
Jill, what's your go and stop?
I echo Sam in terms of, you know, sticking to what you're good at and what you're known for. You know, Common Folk are a brand down here that everybody knows is a great coffee roaster. And that's why people go there. And, you know, for us, it's about brunch. And yes, we do merchandise and other things, but food is primarily absolutely what we do. And we deliver it to people's homes, and it's 70% of our revenue. So stick to what you're known for and what you're good at. And I think to avoid inconsistency, one of the things I see down here is people constantly closing, opening, changing hours. It's just so confusing to the market. And I think the less barriers you have to customers coming to you to purchase to you, the better. So if you're going to open, just stick to it, and send out a clear, consistent message to your customers so that they know they can come to you and they know you're.
They know what you stand for. Yeah. Tim and Josh, what's your start and stop.
So for the Go, we spoke about launching our own delivery service. That's a change we made for the virus as well, in-house delivery. We first spoke about it months and months before it actually kicked off. And then the virus, when it happened in 2-3 days, we got it up and running. So the Go would definitely be act fast.
Yeah, okay. Act fast and then kind of do your modifications as you go along. Any things you'd recommend people do not do or avoid?
Have you got one?
I was going to go with another recommend, but that is definitely...
Oh, that's all right. Do that if you like. Yeah.
Communicating with your staff. That was...
Okay.
I mean, it was a very trying time for everybody. We didn't know what we were doing tomorrow and next week.
Yeah, okay.
Communicating to our staff, letting them trust us, know our struggles as well as the struggles that they were probably going to experience.
Yeah, okay. Nice to put it, say that, yeah. And David,
probably, one thing to avoid, I would definitely say is, doing business the old way. So bringing everything online is another, I guess, a recommendation, but yeah.
Yeah. David, what's your start and stop?
I think focus on what you can control. So I think cost of goods, labor cost. What I did is we sat with all the suppliers while we were operating. A lot of restaurants closed, all the hotel closed, all the function center closed. So suppliers now are desperate to get rid of the goods and the product. So visit them one by one, talk to them, get best product at best prices. That was very important. I managed to reduce probably 10 to 15% our cost of goods in the last 6 months. We are not scared of increasing our prices. I think we are too scared operators to put our price up. And to give a quick idea to some people here, in 1990, a coffee was $2.90 to buy a coffee in a coffee shop. And if we are following the inflation, a coffee today should be $8.70. Obviously,
right, okay.
we don't sell it at 70. We don't.
Yeah.
But we can't be scared. We can't keep absorbing costs always and always. And
Yeah.
we keep to do that. We keep taking absorbing, and everyone take a cut from Jimmy's, from Deliveroo, from Uber, from the payroll, whatever. And we let our margin becoming smaller and smaller and smaller.
Yeah.
So somehow, at some stage, we have to pass it on to people.
Yeah, good one. And have a product that they're ready to pay the right price for as well. Correct. With the quality. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Well, what an awesome event, everyone. Thank you so much. Thanks for all the questions and all the chat, all the attendees. Thank you for our wonderful guests for coming along and sharing so openly. And we'll be sending you a copy of the recording. I'll be sending that email out tonight so you can share it around to people if you want to. And don't forget our next webinar's coming up in 2 weeks and then 4 weeks time. And then there will be, I haven't put it there, but there'll be a preparing for Christmas one coming up straight after that. So we'll be flogging you about preparing early. And thank you very much. Appreciate everyone's coming along today. Thank you. Cheers.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Wow, that was awesome, guys. Wonderful, really fabulous. We're still on, by the way, but I'd just like to have a little... Yeah, that was really great. Thank you. Yeah.
I've actually got a question for the group. Our biggest challenge at the moment is having a website that actually can deal with single orders, subscriptions, and give me a running, like an order sheet for the day. Sorry.
If you're selling the meals, that's not something. So the issue we had was like obviously selling the food that's going to be prepped in service, getting the order from you straight into our kitchen. But if you guys are taking orders through a day and then say making the 10 orders are coming in, 20 orders, and then making all at once, Shopify has a really good option for that plus subscription.
We actually went through the process on another platform, and the developers got right 90% of the way through, and then they admitted that it wasn't Shopify, it was Squarespace with a subscription plugin.
Mm-hmm. Then they admitted that they shouldn't have taken the job on, did they?
It's really disappointing from their perspective and mine. But
we've never heard that happen with web developers before.
Yeah, because we're essentially a what's that? The subscription service, Easy Fresh. No, what's it called?
Oh yeah,
HelloFresh.
HelloFresh and Marley Spoon.
HelloFresh. I'm the IT department right here without that.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, I haven't got a way of managing it. We're doing it on a really basic setup now, which actually works, but it's got some real limitations as well.
Yeah. Nice.
At the end of the process,
Okay.
you have to eat.
Well, look, I might put you, Hugh, in touch with Tim. Maybe you could have a chat because I know he's pretty sharp on that. Sam, any recommendations from you about?
If I just send Hugh a link to the people we use, so Shopify, that's the way to do it. So we've got a pretty smart roasting team who've managed to build a Google Doc that actually takes all of the data from Shopify and also from our wholesale ordering platform, which is a separate one, into one document and spits it out into our roasting production sheet for the day. And but it's literally one button that we need to press. Nice. And so I think, Shopify, definitely find someone who can help you with that. And obviously just talk to the developer about your needs. Because it's frustrating. There's a lot of people who can build. In fact, pretty much anyone can build a website these days.
Yeah, exactly.
But to build a good e-commerce solution is a lot more difficult to do that well, to make it easy for you as well, because you'll need to change things on there. And Shopify is easily the best we've seen.
Nice.
Thank you. Thanks, Sam. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone. Really appreciate it very, very much. Cheers.
Great to meet you all. Bye-bye.
Bye. Cheers.
Bye.